And there we go. It's on.
We're filming?
Yep.
Okay, then.
Of course we wouldn't have a normal open.
What's up? We're back, bitches.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We are back in the sense of, hey, this is our first upload, and hopefully, in about a month or so, there will be more to follow. But we'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah, so basically, if you're still in the Listen to Why You Play group on Facebook, you've noticed that we've started posting shit more. And we're like kind of back. We kind of like just play games now when we can. As opposed to having a strict schedule we did Mark II, pretty much. Yeah. But we want to make this video to just be like, just a check-in, saying like we're still alive, and to just tell you what we've been up to and what we have planned.
The absolute bizarre timeline that led to where we are.
Oh yeah, yeah. So.
Oh man, what was that? What was that 2012 when we stopped? 12 or 13?
Was it? Whenever Mark III launched,
yeah.
Maybe like a couple months after Mark III launched, that's when we stopped.
It was because we jokingly said, oh yeah, we have to quit for 8 months because I'm going to Florida.
Was that it?
Because of the internship at Disney. I was like, I'm going to be gone for 8 months, bye.
Yeah, you were gone. I played Convergence for like...
That entire time I was gone.
That whole time you were gone, and I think that was still Mark II.
Yeah, and then I came back, and then I was looking at getting some stuff, and I think we played a few games off camera. And then it was like, surprise, Mark III.
Yeah, and then I don't know what you were doing, but I was like still trying to play with it, and then I didn't vibe with it.
It was cranky young adult men not liking that the thing they like changed so heavily.
Yeah, because I will go on record saying that I think Mark II was like peak War Machine.
Remember two-handed throws?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah, they do. Oh god, but yeah. So then there was the big blank spot right there from that until I think it was like 7-8 years.
It was a long time.
There was the small period in like what was it 2016, 2018 where we monkeyed with 8th edition for War Machine for 40K.
Yeah, we played 40K for like
3 or 5 games.
3 or 5 games.
Yeah. Blood Angels versus Death Guard. Bad planning on my part.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
I was because I got the Blood Angels start collecting box, so I had the tank. I had like a couple tactical squads. I had the Primaris stuff from the Dark Imperium box, but like the only thing that could consistently do damage to the Death Guard were I think it's the Primaris Hellblasters. It's the dudes that have the special plasma guns. The Primaris plasma dudes, but it was a 5-man unit of them. Versus like 3 or 4 units of Plague Marines, and there's like 7 or 8 dudes a unit.
Yeah, and then like the bloat drones and the blight haulers and shit.
Because you were really into the Demon Engine stuff.
Yeah, that's
that was
what
like
I wanted to do.
That was all, and that was like a big thing for Nurgle too. That they were like, we're so cool, we have our own special maggot helicopters.
Yeah.
Like that's
They're
what
cool.
The thing was. They're ridiculous. But
when we played 8th, I think that's what was the catalyst for looking at a whole bunch of other games.
Yeah.
Because we were just like so disappointed with how 8th was, how we felt about it. And then we found like I went on a deep dive on the internet to look for like indie games. And I was like, fuck it, let's just do indie games forever.
We started just messing around with like little skirmish games and stuff. We gave Malifaux 3rd edition a try. We're just waiting on the models to catch up because during that era of Malifaux 2nd edition, you'd buy a box and like 4 Night Terrors and it's 13 bits per Night Terror or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, here's a box of 40 pieces, figure it out.
I bought the plastic Night Terrors and each Night Terror was like 22 or 23 pieces. And I was like, I don't want this in my life.
It's really because even though they're 32, they're not 32 heroic. They're like a smaller standardized size. So the pieces are really small, the details are really small, and you've got like a single person on it's closer to 28 millimeter, honestly.
Yeah.
It's closer to like almost 28 scale, and it's like 18 parts for one model. It's...
Whew, so we tried that.
But we're just waiting because they are releasing like fully pre-built like injection mold models or something.
Supposedly. Whatever those like new starting kits were.
I'm gonna look and I'm probably gonna buy a box that's like of the newest, like one of the newest masters that have come out, and I'm gonna see if it's a build kit or if it's you know what? They're probably just gonna do the pre-injected stuff for the starter kits to get people into it, and then haha,
Probably.
surprise! You want to expand, buy the building stuff.
My takeaway from it is I think the game is okay now. It's not how it was in 1.5. It's okay. I just hate the models.
Yeah, it's a matter of the models, which is fair. That's
so
fine.
we tried 40K, Malifaux, and then I started talking about Forbidden Solemn.
Yeah, the whole Morkborg verse.
Morkborg, Forbidden Solemn, and I love that shit so much. We have Forbidden Solemn. We've been doing the expansion.
We love it so much. We have every skirmish game version of it.
Yeah.
We have most of the official books for the tabletop RPG version of Morkborg. We also have a skirmish version for a post-apocalyptic World War I era version of Forbidden Solemn, and a Cyberpunk 2077 version skirmish game of it. We're in love with the system, we're in love with how it plays, and we're so dedicated to it that we are going out of our way to collect the models, build and paint them before we put anything to picture or film for it.
Yeah. And then the guys making, the creators making like a Bloodborne version.
Oh yeah, that's right, that's the new one he's working on.
It's like a Bloodborne-esque Victorian era.
Victorian era.
Vampiric shit.
Yeah. God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so.
That's hype. So, a lot of skirmish games, you may have noticed. A lot of Monpoc, Monster Apocalypse.
We love that shit too.
Known?
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, when we were first introduced to it, it was a blind box game.
Yeah.
So.
And even then, when it was blind box game, I still had interest in it.
Yeah, and I was just like, haha, funny game. But I was pretty much a newbie when it came to wargaming at that point, so it was just like, I'm gonna hyper fixate on War Machine.
Right.
Mark 1.
Monpoc came out as the board game version a year after I got you into War Machine.
Yeah.
That's how old it was, and that's how long ago we've been looking at it.
Yeah.
And then when PP decided to make it a miniatures game, we're like, okay, fuck, let's do it.
Yeah, we were just sitting there, and it was because it went full miniature when we were in Mark II, but our whole thing was we're so invested in Mark II, we're gonna have to wait to see how the game plays, and then Mark III happened, and then I went away for 8 months, and so it just kind of, it's not that it was like ooh boo, it was more like ooh, it fell off the radar.
Yeah, I just had no concern for it at the moment.
But yeah, so we've got that. So we got Monster Apocalypse. We finally got some Arena Rex going.
Yeah, Arena Rex.
That's fun.
It's a pretty solid
Arena
game.
Rex.
It's a solid game.
It's a funky little game. It's definitely way better when you're playing a scenario instead of just beat the person to the last man.
Yeah.
Way better as a scenario. But I feel like that's just skirmish games in general.
If you're not a fan of white resin, be prepared to deal with like really bendy bits and small pieces and stuff.
If you're not comfortable with the bent resin and monkeying with that, get ready for some really thin pewter or white metal.
And then we found one-page rules.
Yeah, it was. I don't even remember how. I think you found it. I think.
I've always known about it. I probably like told you about it a few times. It kind of just like blew me off.
I think you mentioned it more because it's you've been on a kick of collecting STLs.
Yes.
And you were like, oh dang, like I found these dudes that make like 40K adjacent STLs. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh okay. And then like a few times later he's like, oh, they actually make rules for it. And I was like, excuse me? So I go on their
free.
website.
Here you go.
Yeah. What was it? I think I spent like $7 on the mission pack that comes with like 18 missions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cheap, and it's what it is, what they advertise. It's a simple version of 40K.
Yeah.
And we find it enjoyable, so we've been doing that too.
Yeah. It's been fun. So we've been using the skirmish version, Grimdark Future Firefight, to learn how the game plays. I definitely feel like one Grimdark Future would be the standard once we switch. I don't really see us going back to skirmish once we pass the 750 points.
It's okay. And that leads us into, we tried Kill Team for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to touch on it.
Okay.
It's an important thing to bring up because Kill Team is the reason that I started looking at one-page rules more seriously.
Right.
Because we tried playing Kill Team 2021. There are aspects of the game that work. There are aspects of the game that aren't quite concise or clear. As you put it, I don't appreciate going down a checklist of 14 items to see if I can shoot your guy.
Yeah, if I can see a guy, I can be able to shoot him no matter what. If he's in cover, I suffer a penalty. That's where it should stop. But there's a list of things you have to go through in Kill Team just to see a guy who might or might not be behind cover. So we tried it for a little bit, and we're like, fuck it. OPR, One Page Rules, has their firefight rules, and it's much more cleaner. A lot simpler, though, but it's cleaner and faster to work with.
And if anybody's interested on a slightly more streamlined version, I'm actually with a couple friends, because I actually live out in Anaheim, California now. That's a whole thing that happened, too.
Yeah.
But I live out there. I've got some friends that I've been playing D&D with who... One of them's getting really interested in Age of Sigmar. He's really excited because the Cities of Sigmar apparently are getting re-release this
they're
fall.
getting new models and stuff.
Yeah, so he's looking into that, so I might be talking to him. I'm going to try to save him some money. All of the stuff for them is free on Warcry right now if he doesn't mind using the old miniatures.
Warcry?
Yeah, remember the fantasy skirmish?
Oh, yeah.
That was an absolute disaster because the mission was determined randomly by cards.
Oh, yeah.
So they learned their lesson, actually. I looked into the second edition. So, fun fact, Warcry, first edition, we played it. We bought the starter set. We each had like 2 crews, warbands. We played a game and it was like, oh, let's do like a best of 3. The second mission, we generated a mission that... It's not that it was unbeatable, but all it took is one person to make it unwinnable. Because there was no clause. It was like, oh, you place 3 objective markers. You want to hold the objective marker, but you can also destroy the objective marker. And there was no rule for what happens. And it says the game continues until you score XVP. And there was no clause for what happens if all the objective points get destroyed. So we're sitting there, third turn, it's like all the objective points are destroyed. Nobody scored any VP. The game just goes on forever. There's no way to win. There's no way to end this game.
Very early on, when we generated the missions, we got a 1 in a million unbeatable mission combination. Just
this completely random one. But in the second edition, they've actually fixed it. The mission isn't generated by the cards. It's terrain, deployment, and the twist, oh, there's a wild magic storm blowing through, or there's heavy fog, or it's at night, and you play missions out of the rulebook in a sequential order. So it's something I'll look into, depending on how it goes, depending if we even get into it. I'll let you know what's going on with that. I'll let you guys know what's going on with that.
As of right now, I have no interest in Warcry, but you never know.
That's right. They got some cool stuff now, man. They got the one of the newest groups that came out, and I want them more so almost for Forbidden Psalm. The Claws of Karanet crew. You can look them up while we're talking.
Is that the zombie, beast guys?
No, they're the dudes that came in the box with the monk vampires. It's literally a chaos cultist crew that literally worships Karanak, the 3-headed hell dog.
Yeah.
One of the dudes is literally running around on all 4s. He's got a giant metal helmet that makes it look like hellhound.
I saw the mini online.
Oh, I love those guys. I'm probably gonna get them for a crew for.
That's one thing about Forbidden Psalm is you can find a cool model and then use it for Forbidden Psalm because it's mini agnostic.
Yep.
So that's what we've been doing most of the time too.
Yeah. So I think the first one that we'll probably put to picture or film would be Regicide.
Yeah.
Because I have the Cursed... as a side note, never play them. I have both Black Fortress and Cursed City for Warhammer Quest.
Yeah, you got that for your group.
I got Black Fortress for everybody. I got that for you and for them. And I got Cursed City more so for the other group because it was more fantasy. And you're like, fantasy is okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at the heroes. And you're like, meh. Chick with sword, ogre, old guy.
It is what it is.
Players. I mean, to be fair, not that I'm saying that you're one of those crazy people that just absolutely rage against Age of Sigmar. But you were a fantasy guy.
Yeah.
You're a big fantasy guy. You like them silly madcap goblins hanging out in units of orcs and just launching them.
And regiments.
Yeah.
Geometry wars.
Like I said, we've been playing, as a side note, we've been playing Battletech.
Oh yeah.
And I was unsure how I would feel about playing standard Battletech. I thought I'd be more Alpha Strike. We haven't played Alpha Strike yet. We've only played 2 of the regular game, and I'm like, this is ridiculously fun.
If we played Alpha Strike with what we just played right now, it would have taken half the time.
Mm-hmm. And we would have probably been able to throw a few more models on the field.
Yeah. That's how they designed it.
I like learning because I think the only thing about Alpha Strike is that it's streamlined because it's you don't go down the list of hey, I'm gonna shoot you with my LRM-15, my large laser. I think it's just I'm gonna shoot you with this mech and you just roll for it. But I think it's similar.
One mech has one damage profile with their ranges and that's it.
Yeah, so it'd be quicker with more mechs. So we could always try that out a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's.
So anyways. That's all the games we've been playing in between the time of our last video and this one.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because it's back. We gotta tell the tale.
Because War Machine is back.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, we were planning on coming back before Mark IV was announced.
Yeah, I found out about Brawl Machine.
Yeah, because, I'm gonna do it. Shout out to Gorilla Miniature Gaming. Shout out to Ash.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping the gaming flame alive during that empty period where we did nothing. And he started posting Brawl Machine, and I was like, he sent me a video, he was like, dude, Ash just uploaded a Brawl Machine video. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I kind of want to play. And I'm like,
I was like, I want to hold a Warjack again.
He's like, I kind of want to play. And I'm like, I kind of do.
Build a Warjack again.
Yeah.
And spend focus points on it and cast spells and be a badass.
And then we found out that, oh shit, where did all the War Machine models go?
Yeah. And then I go on Private Depress's store, and I already heard things about like there's something going on in Private Depress where like molds were stolen or something. I don't know the fucking full story about it.
Yeah.
It could have been all made up. I don't know.
For whatever reason, they had an issue producing more models for Mark III. We don't know why, we don't know how, and honestly, in the long run, it's not really our business.
They did have a lot of like, what they said is like SKU numbers.
Yeah, that was part of the reason that they did
So
that.
like one faction had like fucking 500 different SKU numbers.
Yeah.
And game stores couldn't keep the space.
And technically, yeah, because you would look at it, and just as an example, for Coddor, there's like 3 different kits for Juggernaut. Because there's the original pewter white metal, there's the, from Mark II onwards, the plastic one, and then there's the Extreme Juggernaut.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, you've got 3 SKUs for one model with the same name.
Yeah, so
like I get that.
Completely understandable.
Mm-hmm. But then, so we finally get it, and we play like a 100-point game, and we're like, man, this is wild. This is wild to be back. Man, and then I think Neek was talking to you.
Yeah, I was talking to Neek and about War Machine. You're like, yeah, like me and Chris, we just like bought a bunch of like random ass War Machine models and played the game of Mark III, and we loved it. And we're gonna try Brawl Machine stuff, yada yada yada. And then Neek was like, yeah, there's like talks and rumors of like War Machine might be getting a new edition. And I was like, nah. And then a month later, the fucking trailer drops. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. We're sitting there, he's like, yeah, Neek says that, like, Privateer Press has a big announcement at Gen Con this year. And I'm like, I doubt it, but there's no way they're announcing a new edition. Come on. And I opened my big fat mouth. What am I, 4 for 4?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's no way that they're ever going to make Custodes a playable faction. Want to bet?
Yeah. He has an uncanny ability to, like, guess new things coming out. He guessed Cyrus as a playable
I guess Sirius. I guess the return of Colossals.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were sitting
It's
there.
annoying.
It's hilarious because, like I said, yeah, because I did Custodes, I did Sirius, I did Orgoth. I did Orgoth.
Yeah.
I think I did Orgoth the year before Sirius because Privateer Press did a keynote speech the year before Convergence.
And they just showed the logo.
Yeah. They did a keynote speech and they were talking about the lore of the universe and they started talking about like the Orgoth invasion and I'm like, that's gonna be a faction and you're like, no. Then the next year,
belongs to the myth.
Yeah.
In the freaking storytelling.
Yeah, and then a year later they're like, oh yeah, then they have this group known as Sirius. I'm like, that's gonna be a playable faction, and then they became a faction.
Yeah.
And then we didn't think about Orgoth, and then they're like, Mark IV, Orgoth. And I was like, wow! And then immediately I fucking called it!
And I think that kind of leads us into our next part here, is on the Listen While You Play group, I asked the group to like give us questions or whatever. Only a couple came through with some questions, which is okay, because perfectly understandable. The fucking page is like, what, 15 years old? I don't expect anyone to still like be around or care anymore. But
and there was a huge dead period too where not a lot of content was going on.
Yeah. So the first question is, I guess we can start with, what are we doing now in Mark IV, and what do we plan to do in Mark IV?
Yeah. Yours is a little more streamlined if you want to go first.
Yeah, so when Mark IV dropped, and I saw that Orgoth was a faction, I was like, that's what I'm going to play. Just a fresh start, that's what I'm going to play. Completely new faction in the setting. I mean, like, not the setting, but, like, you know, playable faction.
I mean, technically, it's 15 plus years past
Yeah.
the Sundering or the Claiming.
I think it's like 15. The Iron Kingdoms RPG has like all like the precise timeline shit.
Yeah. The first book for IKRPG Requiem states 5 years past.
So what happened was for Mark III to play that for Brawl Machine, I chose Circle Orboros. So I fucking scrounged the internet to try to find any circle models. I got a pretty sizable circle collection going on, and then Mark IV drops. I was like, cool, okay, Orgoth it is. I'll play Orgoth because frankly I didn't want to like play Storm Legion. I don't like the aesthetic too much. You're the Khador guy, and then they showed Dusk a bit too late after I made my decision, and plus too like I wasn't really a fan of like the Retribution aesthetic.
Yeah.
So I just gave a pass on them. So like, Orgoth is what I'm doing for Mark IV, and then Circle, I found out later how they explain like legacy armies and shit.
Yeah, at first we were a little miffed because it's like, wow, I just spent all that money and it's a whole new edition. And then they eventually were like, blah, 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 legacy armies. Excuse me?
Yeah. We'll get into that in your mercenary incident too.
Yeah.
So, with the Circle shit I had, I was like, okay, let's keep those and then play whatever the legacy Circle factions are. Later on, they release them. I like them, so I'm playing Circle. And then I'm thinking about doing a third faction, which is going to be Crix. I might grab the first thing of that pretty soon, not quite sure yet, but I do know I want to play another Legacy faction because I have a gripe with Mark IV, but we'll get into that later, so you can go ahead and talk about what you're going to do.
So initially when the Mark IV came out, I was sitting there and I was like, oh my god, the Orgoth. And he's like, dude, I'm doing Orgoth. And I was like, all right, I'll let you have that. You ain't got your Menoth or anything. That's fine. That's fair. So, currently, as we sit right now, I am both hanging out with the Motherland, Das Vidania. So I am playing Khador right now, as I do have the armies for them. I am also looking to pick up Dusk. I'm just waiting on the things to drop, but I definitely was like, I want to play Mark IV. I want to play with a Mark IV army. And totally understandable, they're figuring out how to do this whole mess with the 3D printing, UK distributors, their distributors here in the States. So I understand timeline getting pushed back. I'm not mad, not upset. There's no point in doing that. But I was just like, man, I really want to play, but I've got, Hazaroth and 2 Jacks. That's not going to be fun forever. Definitely not. Small games of Mark IV are rough. So I went with Khador, but I'm still looking at Dusk. I'm really hoping that Chimera is solid because I really want to I love the art, I love the aesthetic, I love the way they look. I just don't know if I want to play another glass cannon.
Yeah, you played Legion for a little bit, long time ago.
And I played a very glass cannon Crix.
Yes.
I tended to play them on the glass cannon end.
Yeah.
But, on the side note, I do have some Grimkin. I do know the person sitting next to me has a lot of issues with Grimkin. So I guess...
The issues rhyme with the word clockatrice.
Mm-hmm. Clock and try.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't have 2 of them. It's fine. No, I make the jokes. I have 2 of them in my box in the other room.
Yeah, they suck. Go on.
But anyways, I recently took to eBay just to look around, and there's a possibility that I will be picking up and swapping Grimkin with Menoth for my legacy army of choice. I'm currently bidding on a lot, and I'm still the highest bidder with like 2.5 days left. So
we'll see what happens with that.
It's like $500 to $700 worth of stuff, and I'm currently sitting at the highest bid on 103.
Yeah, and like I'm sticking to my vow. Like I pretty much know everything that there is about Menoth and Scorn from all my time in Mark II, and I was like, I'm gonna take a vow. I'm not gonna play them again in any other new edition of the game because like I've conquered those factions. I'm cool with letting someone else play them.
Yeah.
So.
And I've always liked Menoth weirdly for as much as they've caused me such consternation.
Yeah.
throughout the years of Mark II.
Can I do this? No. Can I do that? No.
I was never at a point where I was like, man, I hate this. It was, man, I hate how that ended up.
Yeah.
It was never anger at the faction or anything, so who knows? Regardless of the eBay lot, I'm most likely just going to pick them up. Because they honestly have the most stuff left in the shop right now, so it's not the end of the world to grab one of the bundles and grab a few things that I need.
Yeah. I'm the Black Fleet bundle I'm looking at next, so.
Yeah,
So that's our situation right now, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then I did ask you guys your questions. So the first question is from Tim Waters from our group. And he wants to know, which are your favorite models and casters from the new edition, and what do you hope the new factions will be?
You already know who I'm going to say.
I really like the Tyrant, the Orgoth Tyrant. That's a very solid looking warjack, and they're kind of Crixian, but they kind of got like their bulk to them and stuff, and like the angles and stuff, and I don't know, I like them aesthetically.
It's like somebody starved a bronze back and then slapped a bunch of metal on it.
Yeah,
so I can see why you like it.
Yeah, not as tough though, but same.
Yeah, like I said,
same personality.
They starved a bronze back and then stuck it in armor and then pumped lava through its veins.
And then I've only played Harusk and Kishtar. I don't have Sabrith yet. I think her box came out like what, yesterday?
So physical retailers should have received stuff yesterday. So the online store should have it soon.
So I would say I played Harusk more, so I know him more. So I think he's super solid, super ball busting feat. He has his spells he comes with are pretty solid too. And he's got Vanish, which is a nice get out of jail free card, somewhat. But having just like a quick nope is good to have. A la fucking P. Gatsby.
Yes, I see that the assassination run has not gone as planned. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. So I think I'd say he's my favorite warcaster right now. For new edition though, I'm still testing all the circle warlocks and shit.
You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna give it to your bad lady though. That was the most stressful. I wasn't as stressed fighting Chromac.
Iona?
Yeah. Bad lady TM.
She's okay.
There was just one point where I was looking at her, and this is when I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I gotta break a golden vow. I gotta proxy some shit. I really want to try Dusk." So I proxied 2 units of gunmen and 2 units of shield guard guys. And I'm like, I have to. I need to know.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there staring at her, and you're just like, I'm gonna cast this spell on her. She's now defense 18, and I was just like,
yeah, defense 18 with no knockdown. So
I had no knockdown, and I did not take the command card that would have given me blessed, and I don't think I had a spell that would give me bless. So I was just like, what do?
Yeah. Plus, she's an infantry warlock, and I didn't really have that many units in there.
Yeah. But
we'll get that later.
Yeah, and then I remember it was because the other option was I was staring at Epic Chromac, and I'm just like, I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah, Epic Chromac's pretty solid, I'd say.
But yeah, oh man, where do we even start with Illyri Borusiak? Where do we even start with the Mad Lad?
Strakov Mark IV.
Man, that he is currently my Strakov for Mark IV, which is saying something with how much I love the old guy.
I don't even play his army, and I think Boris is fucking solid.
Yeah.
He's a solid ass caster.
Shout out to Strakov coming back in 5th Division though, and just being absolutely ball busting.
Yeah, Strakov is pretty nasty Mark IV.
But yeah, oh man. Grievous wounds, critical grievous wounds, to be fair. Oh no, it's regular grievous wounds, critical armor pierce.
Yeah.
The ability to shoot twice.
He's just solid. He's solid.
And it's his feat on paper, I didn't think it would be as strong as it was, and then I used it, and I was like, oh, I was wrong. Which is the whole, as long as you damage something, it's either you damage or you destroy something else gets a free go.
Yeah. Gets a free move and attack.
Yeah, free move and attack, and it doesn't specify ranged or melee, so I was just like, everybody shoot.
It's just solid. Everything about his kit is solid as hell.
Yeah, and that was when I still had 3 or 4 warjacks on the field too.
Yeah.
So that was spicy.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Uh, and it's not fair to Ekaterina because I only played her once and that was a battle box game. She's definitely more of an infantry caster than Borisiek, but Savrin's going to be ridiculous when it comes to infantry because he got them battle plans.
Yeah.
His feat is...
He looks pretty nice.
His feat is you get 3 battle commands.
Yeah.
Which is just gnarly. Let's see here. Grimkin, the Heretic, because that's the only one I played.
Yeah.
He's just annoying. There was stuff I kept forgetting when he would cast spells.
It's not fun fighting Grimkin in Mark IV.
Listen, they turned the mini feats into command cards. They gave Grimkin an extra 2 command cards, and all of the...
And the wording for command cards is kind of vague.
A little bit.
It was a little bit vague.
But it's... The bigger thing is that all of the mini feats are Uno reverse cards. You don't just sit there and go, I play. You go, man, I really hope he shoots my unit and miss so I can say, no, you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, it sucks.
Because that was the problem. Like, the second game the third game I played against you with them, you didn't miss, so I didn't get to trigger half of my stuff.
Right.
I was like, miss.
It's just icky.
And you were just
icky.
like, you're like,
it's
no.
icky poo-poo.
He's mad because one of them heals everything in the control range.
It's like, what the hell?
It's like, did you bonk the warlock? I'll heal everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's the fun one.
It's fucking crazy.
That's the fun one.
The crazy fun one.
But yeah, for Dusk, currently looking forward to it. Oh geez, his name's went right out of my head. The Nasir of Spiders, like Tyrus. That man.
Oh, the fucking...
Norbin and I had a conversation about that man.
Guy.
Flashing blade.
Go.
We had a conversation about that guy when they rolled out the rules update last month.
I think it's more than that.
It was like a month or two ago where they upped. It was about leaving combat ranges and stuff, and we were just like, Norman's like, "Do you know what this means?" And I was just like, yes.
I mean, at least they fixed it, so it's not as, anal damaging.
We have a way to exploit the hell out of it with him. So
okay, well,
yeah, we can be very mean with this.
Okay, whatever.
Hashtag sorry not sorry.
Yeah, I'll deal with that when I get my shit. It's fine.
It's fine. I mean, he's in the expansion box for Dusk, so that's later this year.
Yeah, so you'll get him eventually, which is something I just need to plan for, so it's okay.
So Coddor box should be 2 weeks from now. Coddor expansion. That's a big deal. I get my Shock Trooper Pikemen.
Yeah.
AKA the new Ironfang Pikemen, who currently aren't playable in Legacy armies. I'm not better.
Anyways. And then what do you think the new factions are going to be?
So
it's what, 2 Hordes factions, right?
Yeah, I still really like your idea for what you thought Chimera was going to be, which was like some kind of like weird Afridi cult that worshipped Dr. Arcadius's research.
Oh, and have like robotic...
Yeah, they were going to be like heavily like...
Beast hybrids?
Like really steampunk crazy beasts.
Yeah.
I think we were calling it the Arcadian cult.
Something like that.
I think that would be really cool, but I think that's kind of Chimera's lot now is the whole... We learned how to make living things. We learned how to shape flesh because my sister got telefragged in a teleporter that tried to take her off planet. I still don't know how that works.
I mean, I don't know much about what happened. I didn't follow Oblivion that much.
You know what? It's not fair. It's Magic. They don't gotta explain shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that'd be really cool. And, I'm still over here holding out hope for Zumanoff.
Yeah, I know there's a group of people that want like dinosaur riding Menites.
Gimme them heart-eating barbarian Menites. Gimme! It's a call to arm, brothers!
Yeah.
That would be pretty hilarious, though, because I would not be buying Chimera and I would be buying them. That's the thing. As much as I want Chimera, I don't think I'm buying anything for Warbeast factions until I can see them all.
Yeah, like in the app, seeing stats and shit.
Yeah, even without seeing stats, I just need to see what they all are before I jump head first and have another Dusk incident.
Yeah. Going off that, though... Actually, no. Let's finish our questions first. I mean, how much time are we at? Does it matter?
No, because remember, I'm gonna send it to your drive.
But how much can you restore on your phone? I assume a lot.
Dude, I'm like at under 10% of what I can store on my phone. We're good. We're good. I got a fancy new phone. That's why it looks nice.
So, anyways, next question's from Nordman. He wants to know your thoughts on the fully released Dusk rules, or whatever's out now, I guess.
All of the stuff for the House Kalis is out for Dusk. Man, they're kind of what I feel like Menoth kind of was in Mark II, because there's this big divide between like their standard infantry and then their like elite guys, because all their elite stuff is 3-man multi-wound undead with vampiric. They all hit like trucks. The cavalry hits you back if you hit them.
Oh yeah.
It is. The Spring Blades, as long as you don't straight up deal 8 damage to take them out, you take D3 damage for touching them. So you can't go at the cavalry with 1 wound infantry unless your guys got tough.
Right.
Oh man, that is...
Oh damn, that's gross.
Yeah. It's gnarly. I love it. It's the cavalry is gonna be so great for jamming up little dudes. Be like, yeah, you wanna fight me for this objective? Come on.
Yeah. Little dudes.
Yeah, you get the silly little soulless guys who they don't look like they hit all that hard, but then you look at like the kits. Dusk has so many like little things in it that's gonna make you just jealous. Cause it's like, oh, they've got normal Rat 6 little rifle dude. Oh, but if they aim, they get eyeless sight. So you look at them and you're like, oh, that's a pretty normal stat line. Oh my god, look at what they do. The Blade Masters that we get. We have dudes with like 2-handed swords that are like POW 12s. They have ambush. We just randomly get to drop some dudes on the edge of the board and just be like, surprise. And the last one is the dudes with shields. They're rocking shield wall and shield guard.
That's pretty good.
And set defense, actually, if I remember. So you just keep a unit of them next to your caster. You're not shooting me. You're not charging through me. And I'm going to punish you if you try to trample. And then you look back at the elite units and you're like, those guys have crit decap. These guys have multiple... This unit of dudes with bows have AoEs. And I don't want to touch the cavalry.
Yes, it'll be a guessing game. It's a target.
Yeah, it's a different kind of Uno reverse card.
Yeah.
I'm officially labeling the Dusk the fuck around and find out faction. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and target this unit. See what happens.
Just bring a picture of the scale that goes up.
Yeah. Oh, and then I don't even want to get into the character Jack Israfel or whatever it's pronounced because chef's kiss.
Yeah, I'm gonna purposely avoid not talking about my character Jack.
That's fair. So, I didn't bring up Mama Bear for a reason. Yeah. But yeah, Norman, I have to say, I'm excited. I'm not dropping Dusk. I'm just waiting on stuff to come out.
And then a follow up to that is
spicy.
Let's see. Norman wants to know, like, what's our thoughts on having Listen While You Play back, quote unquote, strangely resilient despite the gaps?
I gotta say...
It's kind of tough.
I gotta say, during that period that we weren't doing stuff, there was still a part of me that was like, damn, I wish I could just go play some fucking tabletop games right now.
Oh, yeah.
There was just times where I was like, damn. But, I mean, at that point, I was living in Anaheim, so it was just like...
And I think, too, in a part of that gap, you got in D&D heavy, super heavy, and then you got me kind of into it, and I'm, like, into it now.
Yeah.
But, like, more as a player, you're more of a DM, meaning...
I take the role of DM because not a lot of people... And this is not meant to be a dig at all, because a lot of people look at the role of DM... And they're like, oh my god, that's so daunting. I'm nervous about it. So I am always willing to pick up and be a DM because even though I'm not playing a player character, I am still in a way playing the game with you. I don't have to have a DM PC. I've showed him the horror stories about DM PCs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Crit Crab.
Oh,
No, seriously, if you want to listen to some just stories of these crazy people that have been involved in D&D groups all over YouTube, Crit Crab's a great one. Den of the Drake would be the other one.
So, like, you're more willing to, like, take up the D&D mantle if you need to.
Yeah.
You still enjoy being a player.
Oh, yeah.
Me, however, I enjoy being a player in D&D, and then I want to DM for the Morkborg system.
Yeah.
That's my focus.
Dude, I would still DM for a Morkborg first thing. I already told you, I have, like, mini stuff. I literally have, well, with the exception of core Morkborg, I have campaign concepts for, Cyborg. I have 2 for Cyborg. Cthorkborg.
Yeah.
That's right, they have a Call of Cthulhu version. What else did they just release? I think those are
there's
the
Pirate
ones.
Borg.
That's
which I haven't gotten yet, but I need to get.
That's something that's on the way. But yeah, so I definitely think that Listen While You Play is something that I've wanted to come back to. It seems like you've wanted to come back to. I would love a way to expand the type and amount of content for the channel. Like, the thing is, though, is I think of that, but having watched, and this is such a weird example, but having watched how Game Grumps have had to grow and adapt and change over the years, I know that if we wanted to do that for the channel, we would have to find a consistent core crew, and everybody's gotta learn how to edit. Because it's gonna be, hey, we're gonna sit down, it's the weekend, we're taking today and tomorrow, we're filming 6 or 7 videos across the next 2 days, and then we're editing everything.
It's like, I think Listen While You Play is, I don't want to say like a feeling, but when we first made it, we kind of like made it on a whim.
Dude, Listen While You Play is a vibe.
It is a vibe.
Don't sell us short. We're a vibe.
It's a vibe, but we kind of made it on a whim. We're like, you know what? I've seen, because like fucking Tin Man XL, Steam Powered TV, he was the catalyst that sparked every major battle report and War Machine channel you ever saw on YouTube for a long ass time. And people who make new ones don't give credit to him as much as they should. I don't want to like fucking get the mob right behind me, but like, I think he was instrumental in getting people interested in War Machine on YouTube, and then there was a whole group of people making reports.
He started there's 2 ways we could make the reference. He started the snowball, or Steam Powered TV walk so everyone else could run.
Yeah, pretty much. So when we had Listen While You Play going for a long time, we were at a point in our lives where we could do what we needed to do to like be growing adults, and then we got to have our game time on the weekends.
Yeah. Right out of high school, going through college, dealing with big feelings.
Yeah.
And then being able to blow off the steam on the weekends.
We got our full-time jobs. We got shit to do on the weekends now. We don't get as much time on the weekends to do gaming, so we do it now when we pretty much just get the chance to.
Yeah.
So if Listen While You Play were to come back, it would have to be at a point in the future where we both are at like a stable area in what we're doing with our lives and having dedicated free time to film. And then if it gets anywhere, it goes anywhere, then we can concentrate on it more. And then maybe think about like doing a Patreon or like getting a crew or whatever. But like, that's fucking years and years away probably.
Yeah. I wouldn't say years. I'm going to say I'm hoping that by this time next year I have fixed the job problem. That is a whole saga we don't have time to get into.
Fucking go down that road.
Suffice to say, I've been through a number of jobs, and somehow each one has gotten progressively worse than the last one.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that's how it's supposed to work. No. But I'm dealing with it. I'm figuring it out. But I'm hoping by this time next year, I have a job that has its shit together, and I can at least get Saturdays off consistently. So worst comes to worst. Listen While You Play to get the channel full up going running might be a couple years, might be as little as 1 year, but we're doing what we can with our uploads that we do when we can.
And I won't say too that Listen While You Play is coming back. I'm not saying that at all. It's just if we have the time to film it, make a video, we'll try to do it.
Yeah.
Until we can, we'll do it.
If we can, we will. A full-on channel I can talk with some of the people that I hang out with, and I can see if I can get them, because that's extra people to make extra content. Maybe the channel grows, maybe the channel evolves. It's all... We're literally going from looking at, we're having fun, making fun videos for our friends on YouTube, to all of a sudden, Jesus, 13 years later, the landscape of YouTube has changed so much.
And it's at the point too, like, do you want to just keep doing it for fun, or do you want to fucking try to make it something bigger than just a hobby?
Yeah.
That's what I have to like weigh all the time too.
Yeah,
like,
and that's part of the reason why we can't just be like, oh yeah, you know, next summer we're back.
Yeah.
We'll have it all sorted out. It's a process that we're gonna go through. We're gonna go back and forth, measure the pros and cons. Things are gonna shift and change as things in life shift and change.
We wanted to make this to be like, we're still alive, we're still gaming, we're always thinking about Listen While You Play. Because I know Listen While You Play was a big part of like a lot of people's lives for a long time. So it's not going anywhere. It's still in the Facebook group. And yeah, I mean, like, if whatever happens, you know?
Yeah. You can tell we haven't changed. We're still wearing decal shirts.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else, really? I don't think so.
No, I think we covered pretty much most of the games during our gap timeline, our little gap years.
Yeah.
Covered most of that.
We went from, like, just War Machine to all the games.
Yeah. And then we had to drop some.
Yeah.
God, if I could dig up stuff for Malifaux 1.5.
Yeah,
I'd do it.
I don't think it'll ever be as good as 1.5.
Oh, no. There's no avatars.
It's okay.
There's no avatars.
It's okay, at least, yeah.
Okay, but the cool thing is that they get the masters with new rules.
No, it's not.
Swap.
It's not an avatar. Anyways.
We're not going to get into this argument again.
I think that's it, I guess. I don't want to really ramble on too much.
I did. I wanted to ramble. I wanted to ramble forever.
If you have anything else to ramble about, go ahead and ramble. Because I think I'm all out.
Now you put me on the spot. No. Like I said, I think... we didn't mention, there's going to probably not be a whole lot of gameplay-related stuff over the next month.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going to just see a lot of work-in-progress posts. You're going to see paint updates, terrain updates, game board updates. You're going to see... We're going to try to get, like, up to... We're going to... Even though they're not, like, full battle reports, it might just be pictures or clips, we're still trying to put in the effort to make it look good. Because we want you guys to enjoy it.
Yeah. Plus, too, like, it's a hobby for me, too.
It's part of the hobby, man. Like...
I have a giant mountain of models that need to be painted, and it bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So,
I got a new can of primer. I need to get my white primer. I got to run up to my LGS this week because there's a couple paints I need to grab. So it looks like the content that you'll be seeing most often from us: War Machine Mark IV, both Prime and Legacy.
Yeah.
Monster Apocalypse. Some version of the Forbidden Psalm tabletop, because there's literally Forbidden Psalm, Mad Wizard, Regicide, Last War.
The Mork Borgiverse has so much shit in it that I want everything.
So I'll phrase it as the 5 official Morkborg skirmish games. Those will be things. I think we're going to start with Regicide. Since I have the Curse City box, we have like 75% of the models we need.
Yeah.
And then we got the fun little terrain cutouts to help with that too.
Yeah.
So we got everything Morkborg, Arena Rex every once in a while. And then I think we're still looking at Verrettwood.
Yeah. But that won't come till like after I get more Circle painted, because most of the models I use for it are from Circle.
That's right.
So that's also down the line too.
Yeah.
Just another. There's so many games.
There's
too many games.
There's a lot of games in there. Just realize that we're gonna have at least 2 or 3. I'm gonna break it down this way: 2 or 3 games in the war game size, which would be like Mark IV, OPR, possibly 10th edition once we can actually see the rules and make a decision on that. So like I said, 2 or 3 there. And then there's like a list of like 10 skirmish games. Yeah. We got a big old list of skirmish games.
Yeah.
Once we nail it down, what we do and do not really want to do, we can make a catalog. We can make a catalog and be like, hey, we can even leave it up to post. Like, hey, what do you guys want to see this weekend?
Yeah. And then plus, like, the more we play certain games, the more we like them or dislike them, and then they eventually fade out. So
yeah,
that happens too.
Yeah, that was 3. That was Malifaux 3.
Yeah.
We played 2
We tried
games.
it, hated it. So.
Liked the game, hated the building.
Yeah.
That's gotta be the worst part about being in a hobby, man. You're just like, I love the game, but God, do I hate building these miniatures.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Game's solid. The models are trash. I mean, anyways, let me check the time here.
Yeah, I won. I got more rambling in. It's probably like, what, 30 minutes?
50 minutes.
Well, look at that. It only felt like 30.
Right, we're having fun here.
Yeah, and that's the important part. We're having fun. We hope you guys are having fun. God damn, it's been a long time since we've said this on camera. Stay tuned for the next one.
I was gonna say continuing on.
You had your chance so many times to switch between. Now we have to redo the whole video.
Cut.